Namaste. Good morning, beautiful souls. Welcome. Solstice flame, remnant of first light, daughter of dancing suns, you flicker with primordial fire. Sister of the wellspring, imbue with peace this quiet place. Soften our ragged edges and beckon to your light those who suffer and are lost. Prancing flame, kin to all who labor to live, breathe into us the radiance of your fire, so we will remember the light from which we come. May this day of turning renew us in midwinter, so spring will find in us a fertile field, where kindly things can thrive, multiply, and walk with generosity. And that was written by Pam Ballingham in 2011. Is from an older copy of the Wee Moon Journal, the 2019 Wee Moon. Solstice blessings to you all. Good morning. Clevis, Kenton, and Janine, namaste. Good morning, Annette. I'm going to start this morning with an oracle card from the Illuminated Earth Oracle. On this day of winter solstice and summer solstice blessings to those of you in the southern hemisphere on this day. As we connect to the earth on this special day, let this message from the illuminated earth deepen our connection, respect, concept of reciprocity and responsibility to all beings. This is kind of beautiful. You know, this card, I've told this story many a time, but I just have to share in case you haven't heard this story. This reminds me of my cat story. Once upon a time when Sadhana really was averse to cats. And I was at a retreat, and I had this particular old rickety picnic table that I love to go to and sit and journal, just the way the wind and the light was there. And this one cat would always come and walk in and out of my ankles, sometimes sit beside me on the bench or try to sit on my lap. Often the cat would be in my hands and on my journal. And I really just, they weren't my favorite beings at that time, let's just say that. And so one day I sat with 91 degrees, Annette. Oh my goodness. And Annette, are you in South Africa? Remind me where you are. I'm sorry, I have a hard time remembering where everybody is sometimes. You need to tell me at least 21 times. So I went in and talked to my teacher, and she said, Sadhana, this is your lesson. This is your lesson about accepting love and loving all beings. Loving all beings. And something shifted that day. And I remember I was having my hair cut, sitting on my friend's chair, my friend, the hairdresser, and her cat jumped up on my lap, and she was going, "Oh no, 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 um, no, no, down, 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 Maggie," because she knew that I didn't really like cats. And I said, "No, this is different. This is different. Something shifted with me." And I explained to her that it's like a switch. It's like a switch went off. And when I see the rabbit on the shoulder of the man in his dress clothes, I think, how beautiful, how beautiful. We just connect. You know, it's like Mummy's all dressed up and ready to go to the party with her best on, and the little child comes running towards her with food all over their face and wants to give them a goodbye hug. You know, does Mommy push them away? No. So this is, you know, we allow all beings into our presence, and we take care. And this may be plant beings. It could be creepy crawlies or four-leggeds. And yeah, your own children and grandchildren, and be open-hearted. Let's all be open-hearted and embrace the magic and the mystery that they share with us, far beyond the knowledge that their ripple of energy will bring something very, very potent to us. And let's expand on that reading with a couple of tarot cards. Breathe, everyone. Just breathe. Just breathe. Breathe and trust. Well, there she is, the Great Mother. The Great Mother is with us. And this is the dawn. This is the dawn of a new day, of a new season, of a new beginning, of a fresh start, whatever it is that you need. And be filled with that light, and be nourished with that light, and honor the Great Mother on this day in some way. Tidy up a little bit in your garden. Leave something in the forest when you pass through. Pause and have a chat with her, because she's always there. She's always there, holding us, supporting us. And it's through the deepening of these connections, this concept of ripples and reciprocity, and not possibly being able to fathom how far these ripples go, that our heart opens and our spirit opens and our frequency rises. So may you all feel this in some way on this blessed day. Namaste. All right, good morning. Saskia, happy winter solstice to you. Mary Beth, welcome. Karina, Serpent, a Visionary Oracle, good morning to you. And welcome to Amelia Haravina. Welcome. All right, so I've got some fun things for you today. Fun things. I I've been doing a lot of deck library culling, right? Cleaning out cards and thinning out my library. And part of that process is packing up all of your packages. And what I try to do is retrieve all of the bits and pieces that go with your deck. And in that process, I get to read all of the personal notes and the things that were sent to me by deck creators. Just looking to see what's even here in this pile. I have piles and piles of these. And the thing is that and I when I go back through these notes and I look at them, I remember the why I purchased the deck, and I don't know, I really love going back, and I save all of this stuff. And sometimes I will put these extra goodies in your package, and even if they have a personal note to me on them. And I love this. I love this part of passing on decks. I don't know if that's an odd thing. And then, you know, I tend to, and there's piles and piles of these. And I have also little so sometimes I need to make a special card for somebody. And I don't have a, what do you call it, a cricket or anything like that. But I do love to go through all these bits and pieces of things. These are stickers. I've got piles of stickers. Often when you get a Kickstarter or something like that, you get stickers and lots of special things. So I save all of these, and then I can make greeting cards and you know, do something special for someone. And this might not just be in a letter that is accompanying a deck that I'm selling, but I have this abundance of resources. I have, and yesterday I spilled coffee on my tarot table, and I wiped every single card of 3 decks. All should be well, but I think one of my decks is going to forever smell like coffee. Okay, so this is one of my treasure boxes. And this box is the box where I put all of the little white books. And over here is a stack of extra cards. So once in a while, there will be an additional card, like something will have gone wrong with the printing and there will be an extra card, or a deck comes with extra cards. And I thought that is, sometimes the deck comes with alternate cards. That's what I mean. This is from, let me turn them this way here. This is from, this was an additional card. Do you know I've actually had cards missing from the deck, and then I go through the deck again and I realize it wasn't missing, and I write to the publisher and they send me one. In the meantime, then I have an extra card. Like I've actually done things like that. You know, occasionally I will remove the extra card from a deck because it just isn't working for me. And often you will get extra art or art from whenever you buy a Waite Smith deck, whatever size it is, you get extra art, extra pixie art. And so I have these piles and piles of cards. So and then with Lenormand, of course, you have an abundance of extra cards, right? And sometimes you have options for certain things. So my tarot tip of the day, I thought I want to talk a little bit about what to do with the extra cards, and should you keep the extra cards in a deck or not. And I think this is that's where that card went. Okay. So for example, I'm working right now with the Journey Tarot. And this is the extra card. This is Malachi. This is the guide of the creator. So the creator of this deck is Joanna Kate. Let's just call her Joanna Kate. And Malachi appears in her journal entries for many of the cards. And in doing with the reading, do I keep Malachi in the deck or not? This is the question. And as you know, there are extra cards in many, many tarot decks. And this is a personal choice, of course, to keep them in the deck or not. And I want to just reflect on how this changes the energy of a reading, or some recommendations about what to do with that. So a tarot deck traditionally has 78 cards in it, and there is a built-in harmony, resonance of numerology, of energy within a tarot deck. The way that the number 7 is built in is very integral. And when we add extra cards, we really shift a fundamental energy of the deck. It's like, we add a few oracle cards in. I'm thinking of, so the Numinous Tarot, there is one extra card called the Numinous, which feels a little bit like a judgment card, but it's just full of light, much like this Malachi card that I just shared with you. There are a lot of decks that have 2 or 3 or 4 extra cards. So, what to do with these. And even in oracle decks, so these are the chakra cards from the soul trees, I don't keep these in the deck. I remove them and use them for another purpose. Now, why is that? Because I believe that the energy of the chakras lives within the deck as it is. The colors, the way that the keywords are designed, every single card I can speak to the chakras. I don't need a chakra card pulling me to or adding a layer to a reading. So what I do with these chakra cards is I use these as significators. I use these as themes or something specifically to hold my focus. So if I were doing a reading for the third eye, or perhaps because the third eye is very much connected to, let's say, Manipura chakra, that's the third, my eyes are bigger than my stomach. I may do a reading and have these 2 cards on the table, and they act as the positions of a spread rather than having them in the deck. So they help to focus why I'm doing the reading in the first place. And I have found that using the extra cards as specific topic cards to be very, very useful. Like this is one of the extra cards that came with the Playful Heart Tarot. It says, "You are free." And there's a couple of them. There's one that says yes, and one says embrace your inner child. And so from time to time, I will pull out the extra cards and I will choose an extra card. And if a deck has 5 or 6 of them, maybe I will shuffle those 5 or 6 and draw one and use that as to draw a theme of the day. Susie, Sonic Tarot, namaste, welcome. There's so here's another example. So in the Tarot au Amour Étrange, there are 2 cards. One is as above and the other is so below. And I don't find personally any, it's not helpful to have this, to leave these in the deck. So I take these cards as a bonus, almost like they're a gift of a tarot spread. In the same way that, I mean, I could leaf through all these extra cards here. Many tarot decks will give you a card, a bonus card that actually has a spread on it. You know, so, I mean, Celtic Cross, but this might have special interpretations of Celtic Cross. You know, you often get these little bonuses with a deck. I love it when there's a poem. That is from Mystic Fairy Tarot. So I see, like, here's one. Here's a horseshoe spread from one of Anne-Marie. Sorry, you can't see. One of Anne-Marie Ferguson's. Like that. One of Anne-Marie Ferguson's decks. So that's one of the primary ways that I use the bonus cards. And they are often tucked away in that little box, which is not near my tarot table. But I do remember from time to time to bring it out. Occasionally, I will leave one, especially if it's very unique. And if I look to all of my cards over here, do I have any? I don't think so. I don't think there are any extra cards in any of these decks. They all are just 78 cards. I think this is a worthwhile conversation. And I think it's confusing sometimes if you're a beginner and there's all these extra cards, what do you do with them? I just saw it a moment ago, you know, the line, I was going to call it the Line Strider Tarot, but that's not what it is. The Linescape Tarot. It's, I have the one that has the gold version. So this particular deck has a card for spring, summer, winter, and fall. And so I take them out, and if I'm doing a seasonal spread, or perhaps I want to put the spring, summer, winter, and fall cards on the table, and I could use those in a looking ahead kind of way. What is coming up for me in the spring, the summer, the fall, and the winter. I think it, especially if you are new to reading tarot, it is very, it can be very confusing about how to, what to do with the extra cards. And then lastly, I want to talk about how to decide. How in the world do you decide, which magician card to leave in the tarot? So in this particular deck, there's 2 magician cards. And this is the one I didn't keep in. Sometimes it's just a gut decision. My best advice to you is to keep the one that you don't like, the one that feels confronting, especially if the deck is one that you are reading for yourself. Because I hope that you are wanting to work through things. And when cards are confronting, they tend to teach us a lot more than when they're our favorite cards, right? Let's go to Karina's comment here. Oh yeah, I'd love to hear more about that. And just thinking about this particular comment, I'm thinking about the Happy Squirrel card. There's a couple of different decks that have a Happy Squirrel card. And, you know, it's like a wild card in a deck. I think once you are a seasoned reader, you can speak to it more easily, but I would suggest, as if you are early on in your journey of tarot, is to find a special place for these cards. Yeah. But I was saying, well, how do you decide which do you keep in the magician card that looks a little odd, or do you keep in this one that's full of light? Well, you can ask your pendulum. You can turn them both upside down and, turn them upside down and draw one. I think you can let the deck decide, right? You can rather than your ego deciding, you can let the deck decide. And I think that is a wonderful way to do this as well, too, especially if you've got a whole bunch to choose from. It can be a little overwhelming. Yeah. So, just a few thoughts on extra cards. All right, my friends. Blessings. Blessings for the solstice. And may each and every one of you find a way to connect with the earth on this day in any of her aspects. And I will see you all tomorrow for day 22. Much love.